garden. Let's see. Fennel that comes back every year. Borage this year. I'm trying some carrots in a pot. Tarragon, sage, savory, lemon balm. Let's see, oregano. The mint I have to keep in check. The rosemary that survived all winter, which was awesome. And so did this lavender, which is cool. Love the zinnias and the giant marigolds, a random pepper. Let's see. The milkweed that every insect adores. Let's see. Some sweet potato slips. The new lettuce I need to plant soon. Like one bed. See it. Lots of kale. Flowering cilantro. Some parsley. Beans. Tomato. Chard. I like to keep it I like to mix everything together, as you might notice. A kind of sad tomato. I don't know what's wrong with that guy. A volunteer squash that I'll wait to see what it is. Lettuce I need to harvest. This used to be everywhere. Tomato. Lettuce, some red lettuce, and then this sorrel that comes back every year. I love it all winter. It survives. Sunflower. A bunch of potatoes. Let's see, a squash. And the strawberries I let go wild for the critters to distract them. The raspberries, which we've been eating tons of lately. The thornless ones. The thorny ones are better, but the thornless ones are easier, for sure. Blackberries, soon. Let's see. This is a spaghetti squash. It's starting to set fruit. I saw a couple. Let me see. Flowering mustard, a tomato, these fava beans, or broad beans. It's the first year I grew these. It's been interesting. First year I actually got big beets too. These need to come out. Ate most of them. A ball being fennel that I need to get out of here and eat soon. Tomato, beans, more beans. We love beans. I froze a ton of beans last year. Some peppers, tomato, peppers, my onions. The last of the carrots that need to come out. It's getting hot. Flowering spinach. A bunch of giant red celery. Another pepper. I really mix things together. I feel like it works better that way myself, but all these cabbages that are just about ready. We're gonna be eating lots of cabbage. Kale, I have to cover it like this or the more kale, we eat a lot of kale. Cabbages, these are really tall, like my son calls them open peas, but they're just shelling peas. Tomatoes, they're getting wild. Set tons of fruit. There's a giant Roma down there. Just waiting. Let's see. A bunch of Swiss chard. Another flowery mustard. I never plant this stuff. I just let it go to seed. I let a few plants go to seed and then it comes where it wants. And okra. This is the first year I'm growing okra. I was curious. This was a ton of lettuce, and now I'm letting these chard get bigger. I'll probably put a little more lettuce in there. bunch of lettuce and brassicas of various kinds. More tomatoes, more lettuce. These are really starting to bush, but these plants don't look so great. The purple peas have been fun, but they're starting to wane. It's getting too hot. Let's see. More tomatoes. Summer squash, and then let's see, along here, ground cherry, and this okay. Strawberries everywhere, some lettuce, a nasturtium, sunflower, and there's an old asparagus bed. There are some asparagus left in. More beans. Tomato that probably won't get enough sun. Another sunflower. Let's see. The garden does not stay confined to this area, so we've been eating these tomatoes. My tiny red robins, they're always the first ones. Oh, and there's several cucumbers. Here's a cucumber. This is Kylon. It's like a broccoli. Cucumbers, I finally have cucumbers coming. Beans, another cucumber, and another cucumber. There's one over there. Let's see. Pepper, a couple zucchinis, traveling strawberries. These are the ones that we actually eat that I cover. Oh, I'm escaping. Let's see. Sunflower. There's another asparagus there. This purple orach that I just let go wild. It's like a lemony. You can either eat it in a salad when it's young, or you can cook it. It's a zucchini. It's actually, we'll see if that one got pollinated or not. Let's see. More giant marigolds, another tomato. This is the cherry tomato that will get so long. This guy that needs to be this is an ever-bearing strawberry, so I should get another harvest. A tomato that I don't know if it's gonna make it very productive in this pot, but we'll see. The apple tree that has a bunch of apples that the squirrels will probably steal all of, like they did last year. All my sacrificial brassicas that I just plant for the moths and pollinators. Let's see, the blueberries that I moved this year that were super traumatized. See if they actually do well here. The tiniest blueberry crop. Let's see. This was lawn a few months ago. I was just seeing how fast I could turn it over. I carve out a chunk of grass every year and plant something else. So there's a tomato, marigold. Doesn't get the best sun up here, but it was just a fun experiment. I wanted to see how well it would do. Let's see. The giant onion flower. I love onion flowers. So you're not nauseous. All right, these back here. There's lots of think I did scarlet runner beans, and then these are all potatoes. A lot of them volunteered because I had this as a potato bed last year and I missed some tiny bits, so I sort of just let it mix in with the beans. They're all dry beans. And then the scarlet runner beans, I'll probably just let dry. They're climbing up beans in here. And then behind it is sunchokes that will get huge. Flowers, let's see. Squash, a winter squash. Another winter squash. The other raspberries. This potatoes in a box experiment I did this year. It was super easy. I'm curious to see. It's just potatoes and leaves. Like no other real medium, so we'll see. And then the compost pile that always turns into a jungle. I planted 2 things, the rest of it's volunteer. Last year I planted my giant pumpkins right by the compost and they took over and did amazing. And now I have a bunch of other volunteers, which I always have a bunch of volunteer squash. Looks like I also have a mustard and a ground cherry. So we'll see. I usually let them go for a little while until I know what they are. Well, and all the pots with a pepper, a cherry, tomato, cilantro, a marigold, sunflower. And that's it.